Live from WTVO Rockford and your home team. Eyewitness News at 6 starts now.
An update on a Friday afternoon crash near the city of Oregon. A young boy has died. It's the week to celebrate local breweries. Hundreds of events across the area are taking place for Craft Beer Week. And students from one state line high school show off their hard work. The end of the year event tells the stories of important people in the community. Good evening, I'm Taylor Castro. Thanks for joining us tonight. New information on a rollover crash in Ogle County. One victim is an 8-year-old boy. It happened south of Oregon and east of Loden Miller State Forest on South Watertown Road, just before 6 Friday night. It was a single vehicle accident. An investigation showed the car went off the road and flipped multiple times. The 8-year-old passenger was pronounced dead at the scene. The driver was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. The accident remains under investigation. Some automakers are removing AM radio from new electric vehicles because of static issues, but a group of bipartisan lawmakers introduced a bill that would require them to keep it. They say taking out AM radio or putting it behind a paywall is a safety concern. That's because it's often used to broadcast public information during emergencies, and they're worried drivers would miss those safety alerts. A summertime staple returns to Rockford. North End City Market opened this morning. The market is at the corner of North Main and Auburn Streets. Market goers could shop for fresh fruits and veggies, honey, baked goods, and more. This weekend was the first Flower Fest. You could grab a passport to get stamped at different locations, then enter to win a bag filled with items from local businesses. Vendors say this event brings the community together to support each other.
It really gives you a character of Rockford. You know, sometimes we don't know all that Rockford has, so these events give us a platform to showcase what everybody has to bring.
The market will be open Saturday mornings through October 14th. Admission is free. Yesterday kicked off the start of Illinois' Craft Beer Week. There are hundreds of events across the state, including here in the state line. Our Nicole Delgado met with a local brewing company, and Nicole, they have more to celebrate.
That's right, Taylor. For one company, it's also the celebration of their 11-year anniversary that falls on the biggest week of the year for all beer lovers.
It's great to have so many of our fans and ardent supporters come out and celebrate craft beer, not just here at Pig Mines, but across the state of Illinois in collaboration and in the spirit of what we do and in the craft beer community.
And Pig Mines is celebrating with some customer favorites and tapping 5 new beers for Illinois Craft Beer Week. It's also their 11-year anniversary.
2 barrel-aged stouts, a sour, a fruited New England IPA, and then, in the spirit of Illinois Craft Beer Week, we're releasing a collaboration we brewed up with the Olympic Tavern today as well.
Head brewer at Pig Mines, Chris Langeth, says this week is another way to bring people together through craft beer. Co-founder Brian Indle says he's excited to have a whole week highlighting the brewing industry.
It always gives us a little bit of a bump. We're outside of the city a little bit more. I mean, there's a lot of exciting things going on in Chicago. So outside breweries, we kind of have to try and make a little bit more on our own, but it is a great thing, and they still help push the entire thing throughout the entire state of Illinois. And of course, and it brings more attention to all local breweries when the whole guild is pushing an entire week for us in our industry.
Brian and Chris hope this week will bring the local brewing companies to the forefront while sparking everyone's passion for craft beer.
You know, it's we've got some big releases, some things that should excite people to re-engage in the craft beer community, come out, again, celebrate with not just us here at the craft brewery, but at our retail partners, at taverns and pubs all across Rockford and the state line area that carry craft beer.
There are deals and specials going locally all throughout the state line. Illinois Craft Beer ends May 26th. Taylor?
Thanks, Nicole. We might have seen some future filmmakers today. Harlem High School students premiered their documentary projects. The student-produced documentaries feature stories on American veterans, civil rights activists, and other figures. They interview people who have made an impact on their families and local communities through active participation. Over the past 10 years, the Harlem Documentary Project has interviewed over 200 veterans. 11 student documentaries will be shown this weekend.
I want people to watch my film and kind of just understand where some veterans are coming from and what kind of experiences they've had throughout their life and what kind of struggles they go through now.
Tomorrow is the final day of premieres. The event will conclude with awards. Now to the showdown over our nation's $31.4 trillion debt. Less than 2 weeks to go until the U.S. may not be able to pay its bills. Should the U.S. default, there would be economic consequences and millions of people could potentially lose their jobs. Phil Lipoff has the latest on where things stand.
As the U.S. inches closer to a default on its $31.4 trillion debt, a halt in negotiations between the White House and House Republicans. But sources say that could change as talks have remained fluid. Late Friday, negotiators from both sides met for more than an hour behind closed doors with a key GOP lawmaker calling it a candid discussion. Key issues in the negotiations include government spending cuts, unspent COVID relief funds, and new work requirements for federal aid programs. The White House and President Biden claim there is a bipartisan path forward. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy says a deal needs to be reached this weekend in order to pass legislation through the House and Senate before June 1st. That's when Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen warns the government could run out of money. The bills due that day include $47 billion for Medicare, $12 billion for veterans benefits, and $10 billion for military pay and retirement. The topic of the debt limit, a subject of interest at the G7 summit in Japan.
This is not generating alarm or a kind of vibration in the room. I would just say that the countries are keenly interested in what is a significant story, and the president has been able to tell them that he believes that we can get to a good result here.
President Biden ending his trip to Asia ahead of schedule to resume negotiations in person.
That was Phil Lipoff reporting. The war in Ukraine continues to be a central point of discussion at the G7 summit this weekend. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is in Japan meeting with world leaders. The Group of Seven released a joint statement pledging more support for Ukraine and announcing new sanctions on Russia. The statement also calls on China and North Korea to abandon their nuclear weapons programs. Also at the summit, President Biden reversed a previous stance, announcing the White House will allow Ukrainian pilots to train using U.S. warplanes. President Biden is expected to meet with Zelensky one-on-one this weekend. Firefighters in Canada still can't get a break from the wildfires. There are more than 90 active fires burning in Alberta and over 100 in other parts of the country. Hot temperatures and dry, windy conditions are still challenging firefighting efforts. Nearly 3,000 people are fighting the fires, which includes help from the U.S. Almost 11,000 people who had to evacuate their homes and communities are still waiting for an all-clear sign to return home.
Now, your first warned weather forecast from meteorologist Jordan Wolf.
Well, bright blue skies took over across the state line today and really just across many parts of the country after that cold front kind of worked its way out. Now pushing across parts of the northeast and east coast across the United States, leaving us under very, very clear skies. And that leads me to maybe have a little bit more interaction here with this weathercast today. If you can guess where you think the high pressure might be situated here across the country, well, I'll give you a couple seconds to guess while I'm walking over here. And if you guessed that it was right about in the middle of the country, you'd probably be right. That's because we'll have a lot of the clearing skies, and those clear skies are allowing that high pressure to kind of develop, and that's what's actually causing those clear skies. That's why we saw that high pressure actually keeping our temperatures a little bit on the warmer side today. That's supposed to show our SkyTrack camera showing with those bright blue skies. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like either one of those is going to want to work. So I'll go back to satellite and radar, still showing off those crystal clear skies. You'll just have to go outside and take a peek and see those blue skies for yourself, because this is definitely the day to do it with those temperatures working all the way back up into the 70s. We're actually at 72 degrees right now in Rockford, 71 in Freeport, 72 in Monroe, 73 in Janesville. Those temperatures a little bit warmer than where we were yesterday. Now checking in with our weather watcher Jim on the southwest side of Rockford, also reporting a temperature of 73 degrees. Dew point a little bit on the lower side, down in the 30s, and that's allowing kind of those temperatures to warm just a little bit more than where they were. Here's where we have the SkyTrack camera at least showing up in the background. down in Beloit, Wisconsin. Temperatures now at 72, continuing to fall back down into the 50s over the next few hours. We fall all the way back down into the upper 40s once again for that overnight low. 49 degrees, just a bit warmer than our overnight low what we had this morning when we got down to 45. We are once again a little bit warmer as we get into the afternoon tomorrow compared to where we were today, reaching all the way back up into the 70s. 77 degrees, lots of sunshine once again. High pressure developing. We could see a little bit more of that hazier condition starting to show up as we get into the day tomorrow, because once again we could have that wildfire smoke trying to work its way back into the area. The bulk of that has at least cleared to the east for the moment with that cold front, but if those fires do continue burning over the next few days, we could once again see that smoke kind of drift a little bit closer to the area as we get into the early and middle part of the week before another cold front might swing through and eventually start to clear that out once again. If that does develop and we do see that smoke returning to the area, likely not going to go anywhere until that front comes in because of a blocking pattern that we have set up in the upper level. We have a jet stream that goes around here with a low pressure system, generally speaking, to the northeast and the northwest, developing that high pressure out to the west. That actually keeps our skies very, very clear. Not a whole lot of weather going to be working its way through, keeping us a lot warmer, a lot drier, and a lot clearer as we get into the middle of the week. We go to Futurecast, and this is what we're going to be looking at. A whole lot of nothing for the week. We're not going to see a whole lot of weather systems except a very, very weak cold front that might bring us a sprinkle as we get into Wednesday. Otherwise, we're not going to be seeing any rain probably for the next 7 days, if not even a little bit longer than that. Temperatures also continuing to be on the rise as we get in the middle of the week, reaching 77 degrees on Sunday, almost 80 for Monday, and then even warmer than that as we get into Tuesday. That cold front does eventually start to bring us back down as we get into the end of the week, but the entire week is going to feature above normal temperatures all the way back up into the 70s and 80s. A lot of sunshine. We do have a couple of clouds that could work their way in for Monday, but no precipitation is expected except maybe that cold front that comes through on Wednesday. And Taylor, temperatures remaining in the 70s and 80s, a picture-perfect week all the way through the end of next week.
Now sports with Reagan Holgate.
Some high school baseball teams spent today trying to clinch regional championships and extend their seasons. North Boone and Byron were two of them. They met for a Class 2A championship at Pecatonica. What a pitching matchup this was. Lefty Chandler Alderman for the Vikings and right-hander Braden Smith for the Tigers. The two aces on the mound. Top of the first inning, Smith got a pair of strikeouts. He had 5 in the first 2 innings. Alderman fanned 9 Byron batters in the first 5 innings and 12 batters total. But in the bottom of the second inning, Caden Considine drew a leadoff walk for Byron, and later that inning, Zach Janoski singled to left. Considine heads for home, and he's in there safely. It was 1-0. And it stayed that way until the bottom of the 6th. That's when Braylon Kilduff singled to right. It's Considine scoring for the second time, making it 2-0. A wild pitch later that inning gave the Tigers another run. Then Smith closed out an 11 strikeout 2-hitter by getting a pop-up to first. Janoski has it for the final out. The Byron Tigers are regional champions. They won 3-0. They head to the Stillman Valley sectional next Tuesday. Rockford Christian is also headed to the Stillman Valley sectional. The Royal Lions won the Oregon Regional by edging Rock Falls 5-4 in 8 innings. Now, the Boylan girls soccer team was also looking to clinch a regional championship on their home turf. They welcomed in Dixon. It was a pretty quiet first half until around the 25-minute mark. The Titans were dominating possession, so you knew something was coming. A cross in from Kira Cruikshank, and Vivian Campa is there for the finish. Boylan takes a 1-0 lead. And that's when the goals started pouring in. Senior captain Maggie Schmidt takes charge through the midfield, and, well, she'll keep it herself. That makes it 2-0. Then Johanna Hawley with a dagger straight to the upper 90. What a shot there from the sophomore. It's 3-0 with just under 11 minutes left in the first half. Hawley will take advantage again a few minutes later. She adds goal number 2, and the Lady Titans are rolling. Schmidt ices this one out with this shot from midfield, and it will cross the goal line. The Boylan Titans take the regional crown, winning 7-0. They will head to the Burlington Central Sectional on Tuesday. And several of our local girls competed in Charleston this weekend in the state track meet. In Class 1A, Rockford Christian took first in both the 4x100 and 4x200 relays. Winnebago finished first in the 4x800 relay for the second straight year. Then Bago's Kaylee Woolery placed third in the 1600. Grace Erb took fourth in the 800, and Campbell Schrank finished fourth in the 300 hurdles and fifth in the 100 hurdles. Now to the field events in 1A. Winnebago's Amanda Gustafson placed first in the shot put, and Lutheran's Adeline Richard took fourth in the triple jump. Now to Class 3A, a duo of freshmen placed in the high jump. Guilford's Zaria Burnett took fourth, and Hononegah's Jordan Dibke finished right behind in fifth. Congratulations to all of our girls who competed this week. You can find more results on our website at mystateline.com. And dozens of Rockford youngsters spent their morning learning the basics of football. The 18th annual Rockford football training camp was held at the Indoor Sports Center. Boys and girls received instruction from local high school and college players and coaches. And 2 Chicago Bears also pitched in, defensive back Josh Blackwell and starting offensive tackle Braxton Jones. They say they love interacting with the kids.
You know, when I was little, I didn't get the chance to actually, get around to much, NFL players or anything like that. So I think it's just, going out there with great energy and just showing them to have fun with the game. At the end of the day, it's just a good time with the kids and, giving back.
The camp is put on by the Rockford Park District with the support of Mercy Health and our guide, Tim Bailey, who we'll see back here soon in the fall. Now, a quick look at some of the action today in the MLB. The Cubs struggled in Philly. Another blowout loss hit Chicago 12-3, but it was a good day for the White Sox. They took Game 2 from the Royals 5-1. The series finale is tomorrow at Guaranteed Rate.
We're finally seeing clear skies and sunshine, and throughout this week.
Right, the entire week we're going to be seeing a lot more of the blue skies, at least in the short term, because once again we could see the return of some of that smoke as we get into the middle and end of the week. We do have those crystal clear blue skies out there today. The Skytrack camera didn't want to work earlier, so here's a look across the state line with some of those clear blue skies that we are going to continue to be seeing across the area. Temperatures returning back into the 70s where they were today, but even a little bit warmer as we get into the day tomorrow. Into the upper 70s once we get into Sunday and Monday, and then returning even into the 80s as we get into Tuesday. A cold front does work its way in early into the day Wednesday. That could bring us a chance for some rain, but otherwise the smoke, we're going to be seeing lots of warmth and lots of sunshine all the way through the end of the week.
Thanks, Jordan. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you at 10.